The Sultanate of Oman is a fabulous land full of surprises, a splendid example of original Arabia, from the Straits of Hormuz to the southern Dhofar. Up until the 1970s, the third largest country in the Arabian Peninsula was only accessible by various caravan routes. It has an abundance of mysterious desert towns and splendid palaces. Our journey begins on the northern coast of the Gulf of Oman. The white city of Sohar is the historic harbour of the Islamic world and the gateway to China. Sinbad the Sailor is said to have lived here in the 8th century, and after he spent his father's inheritance, it is believed that he travelled to Baghdad to seek his fortune there. The city is still guarded by the white Sohar Fort, a mighty 4-storey building that dates back to the 14th century. From the wall, there's a wonderful view across both terraces and towers. In its centre are the bones of a sultan who was murdered by his son. With its 6 circular towers, the fort was deemed so important by the Viceroy of India that he sent artists and historians to Sohar in order that they could record it for posterity. It was from here that trade with Africa and the Far East was transacted, trade that brought unexpected wealth and influence. However, little of this is evident today. Life is calm and peaceful, and each morning the small fish market on the edge of the city is the meeting place of those who combine the sale of fish with local gossip. Here, fishermen bring their daily catch, clean it and prepare it for sale for just a few paisa. The mood is good, and the people here are content with their lives. As the lagoon has now filled up with sand, nothing remains of the once famous harbour. On his journey to the country's interior in 1708, Sultan bin Saif had the strategically located Al-Hazm fortress built. In 1711, prior to his election as the Imam or political ruler, the fortress was designed to provide protection for his family. Beyond the remains of the clay walls is an indication of how the common people lived during that time, simply and modestly, assisted by the country's prime building material, clay. History records that the Imam spent his entire inheritance on this building and was forced to borrow further money from various mosques. The spacious rooms and halls are surrounded by fascinating architecture. The fire slits were equipped with Portuguese booty cannons. rectangular complex that was built around a light inner courtyard is an impressive sight, with a strictly geometric ground plan and two mighty corner bastions. As a result of his official duties, Sultan bin Saif transferred the capital from Rostak to Al-Hazm because he wanted to control the coastal area as well as the country's interior. The stairways and corridors were designed in order that both horses and riders could reach the upper floors where there was both living quarters and stables. The fortress was constructed above a water channel that crosses the inner courtyard. The water was thus destined for the kitchen. During the short and peaceful reign of its creator, the building was never really put to the test. Well-maintained roads lead further into the interior to Rostak, that under the imams of the Ya Aruba dynasty was, for a short period, the country's temporary capital. Hot springs with temperatures of 40 degrees centigrade have also made this oasis town famous. Due to the fact that palm trees require much heat and water, a large number of dates are grown here. The second largest fortified complex in Oman was constantly enlarged and improved. The central Castillo is now surrounded by 4 towers and a huge wall. It's hard to imagine that it was from here that the imams created the Oman fleet, the largest sea power outside Europe. The next leg of the journey travels through the Hajar Mountains that extend for almost 600 kilometers from the Arabian Peninsula in the north to its eastern sections. They are also known as the Oman Mountains and divide the coast from the inland, an isolated and rugged landscape with only a few routes to the coast. Oman covers around 300,000 square kilometers and is one of the most sparsely settled countries in the world, with only 1.5 million inhabitants. The desolate landscape of the high plateau is surrounded by 2,000-meter-high mountains, and the rain has created numerous canyons and subterranean caves. Suddenly, an inhabited settlement appears from behind a rock that is located at the old Al-Fawara spring on the edge of the Hajar Mountains. The name of the Nakhl Oasis originated from the word al-Nakhl, that means date palm in Arabic. Palm gardens have been in existence here since pre-Islamic times. Small water basins surrounded by palm trees surprise those who come here for the first time, an oasis amid a desolate mountain world. Here, drinking water is more precious than oil. Thus the women fulfill an important task by filling their buckets with water from the spring. Then carry it on their heads home to their families, spilling not a drop. The small village exudes tranquillity, and the gently murmuring water has for centuries provided nourishment for the date palms. Dates have always been the most important export of the Sultanate. The Nakhl Fortress is located on a rock at the foot of the mountain of the same name, Jebel Nakhl. Both walls and rock form a complete architectural whole. Nakhl is the home of the Ya Aruba Tribe that came into power in 1624 and ruled over Oman for 120 years. A massive ramp leads up to the entrance of the fortified complex that rises 60 meters above the surrounding oasis. The actual Castillo area covers 3 floors. Stores and supply rooms are located in the courtyards, and there are various living quarters within the main building. During winter, the Wali lived on the middle floor, and in summer he moved to the cooler upper terrace. The clever architecture is similar to contemporary planning. With its own well and spring and ample storerooms, in times of siege, Nakhl was totally self-supporting. From the uppermost tower of the fortress, the view across the Batinar plains and the Hajar mountains is overwhelming. Over the centuries, a total of 6 large fortified towers defended the fortress from many a siege. Today, the totally restored Islamic fortress is an important part of the country's history. Since 1970, the capital of the Sultanate, Muscat, has been transformed into a modern metropolis with new Arabic architecture. Naturally, this splendid mosque is an expression of both wealth and power. Golden domes and artistic stone carvings indicate Rajasthan influence. The enchanting prayer house was built with some artistic influence from India. A fairy tale straight out of the 1001 Nights. This splendid mosque is in the area of Muscat that extends for 60 kilometers along the coast and is known as the newly designed capital area. The city continues to expand, and fortunately there's much land available to facilitate extensive city planning. The old town is dominated by the Al-Alam Palace, that serves as both the official seat of government and also that of the monarch. The city district beneath the Mirani fortress is inhabited by a handful of functionaries who are dedicated to Sultan Qaboos bin Said. A number of the typical Arab-style former embassy buildings and commercial offices have been renovated, but their future purpose has not yet been decided. The sheltered harbour also now contains a street and a promenade and is called Corniche. This is a modern commercial harbour and the centre of much international trade. Corniche also contains the main entrance to the Matra Souk. The city's oldest market is still popular with both young and old alike, and is not just a tourist attraction. Here, all kinds of shoes are offered for sale, and also local as well as imported goods from around the world. Especially popular are valuable silver antiques, metal crafts, and a huge array of ornate jewellery. On the edge of the city, behind a black rock, a fairy tale hotel was built that is known as the modern legend of Oman, the Al Bustan Palace Hotel. Prior to the construction of this 9-storey luxury complex, there was once a fishing village on this site. In just 2 years, 3,500 workers built this oriental dream that is of both Arabian and Indian design, surrounded by a blossoming and extremely well-tended garden. Since His Highness the Sultan Qaboos bin Said came to power, the people here have been fortunate indeed, as they don't have to pay tax. The journey leads further inland, along the Jebel Nakhl that separates the eastern Hajar mountains from those in the west. This area was for many years, even for the people of Oman, terra incognita. But today, good roads cut through the remote mountain area. This is the domain of the imams and their fanatical troops who frequently defy the rule of the Sultan. Here, only the law of the strong is understood. Although the mountain slopes contain no vegetation, they stand out in various shades, and according to the position of the sun, they shine out in grey, brown and red. Far from the coast, the people still live in the archaic simplicity of ancient Oman. An old oasis village is the ideal setting for a short break. Barkat al-Moz. The springs here have always provided nourishment for those who live in this desolate region, an oasis amid the arid mountain landscape. Palm trees provide shade and also produce a good supply of dates, their leaves being used to build roofs. Water is the lifeblood of this oasis. The houses are traditionally made of clay, a material that can be found everywhere in nature. When soaked with water, it is easy to work with, and in the heat of the sun it sets hard and firm. The only disadvantage of the clay houses is that they must be renewed frequently. If sudden rainfall soaks the walls, they must be replaced immediately. Failure to do this could result in collapsed walls and even the entire building, and then it would have to be completely rebuilt. The old people know of little else but their village. Most have spent their entire lives in these surroundings and are only familiar with their oasis. At first sight, this old village built of clay seems to be abandoned, partly in ruins and uninhabited. But its appearance is deceptive, like many other things in Oman. Nizwa, the religious centre of the Omans, has a moving past that manifests itself in the city's defensive fortress. Until the 12th century, Nizwa was the capital of the Desert State of Oman. Even today, this oasis city and trading metropolis has lost none of its former importance. The former residential complex of the massive fortress is open to the public. Its simple architecture is captivating. In the past, the fortress fulfilled an important role in protecting the country's interior. Today, its lavish and well-restored rooms radiate tranquillity. Numerous historic objects of everyday life are displayed in various areas of the fortress and associated buildings. There is a charming oriental atmosphere in the silent, shady courtyards. This impressive castle-like structure was built on the orders of Sultan bin Saif al Ya Aruba in 1660. Few of its ancient buildings remain, as the older part of the city has been almost completely rebuilt. Nizwa's picturesque markets offer a large variety of goods. The city is renowned for being the centre of the country's silver trade. In addition to shops that sell traditional crafts and general goods, many fruit and vegetable traders offer their products in the restored souk. The majority of the goods come from the surrounding plantations of the Oasis. In the eastern souk, time seems to have stood still. At the top of their voices, traders from the surrounding mountain villages advertise their wares, mainly goats and sheep. Only after the most careful examination does the cattle change hands. Some of the dealers are armed with rifles and traditional sabres. The renovation of the buildings that took place to mark the country's National Day in 1994 changed the face of Nizwa, but it has retained its old charm and also its minaret. The shining top of the minaret of the Friday Mosque towers up into the blue sky as a symbol of the former wealth. Around 20 kilometers from Nizwa is the abandoned and ruined village of Tanuf, old and weather-beaten remains surrounded by rock walls. Tanuf was once the home of Suleiman bin Himyar of the Bani Riyam tribe. He called himself Lord des Jebel Nakhl and fought against the ruling sultan. He was one of the leaders of a rebellion that lasted for 5 years and that came to an end only when the villagers were driven out. Thus, the village has remained abandoned. The British Air Force assisted the Sultan and destroyed the city. Many of the villagers escaped and built a new village some 4 kilometers away. With the destruction of Tanuf, the last bastion of the rebellious followers of Talib and Ghali bin Ali was also destroyed, and the rebellion against the monarch in Muscat was quashed. Since then, the rain has added to its destruction. The remaining clay buildings have begun to collapse and fall into decay. The forces of nature are stronger than mankind and usually retrieve what was once hers. In the years to come, nothing will remain of this ghost town. the broken down houses and the remains of a mosque are the foundations and remaining walls of a once imposing fortress built of clay. But the name Tanuf will always be remembered because it is written on countless plastic bottles that contain mineral water from a nearby mountain spring. Our next destination in the northern Oman is the oasis town of Baghla. The mighty fortress can be seen from afar. It sits above the wadi that is flanked by palm trees. In the 12th and 15th centuries, Baghla was the capital of the Nabani imams, who frequently ruled over the country. An impressive fortress looks over the town. It is thought that in pre-Islamic times, a small complex once stood here. Here in 1610, the Imam Tamar built one of the largest fortified complexes in Oman. Bricks are laid over the foundations of natural stone. It also has several towers. Because of constant renovation, it will not be possible to visit this royal residence and its outbuildings for some time to come. But its fascinating exterior is an impressive sight. Since 1988, this fine example of early clay architecture has been designated a World Heritage Site by UNESCO and is also a protected area. A 12-kilometre-long clay wall with military towers and 2 gates once encircled 20 living quarters of individual tribes and family clans. The town is a traditional oasis that boasts an especially rich clay that is ideal for the production of pottery. Thus, Baghla has become a centre of pottery. Of its once numerous pottery shops, only 2 have survived. The others were forced to close down due to the industrial complexes that gradually grew on the outskirts of the town. The remaining pottery shops produce household goods according to traditional design and fire the clay in traditional ovens. The inhabitants of Baghla are said to possess magical powers. Indeed, that may account for the strange tickling feeling when one enters the town. The journey continues on remote roads deep into the Jabal Akhdar mountains. After we have passed a few small houses, we finally reach our destination. Al-Hamra, This 300-year-old oasis village dates back to the reign of Imam Saif bin Sultan. At the end of the 17th century, members of the Arabian tribe settled here, the descendants of whom still live in the Jebel Nakhl mountains. Al-Hamra means the red one, an Arabic name that is also to be found in the word Alhambra of Granada. It is linked to the colours of the brick buildings. The town consists of brick houses and is still partly inhabited, although the walls of some of the houses have collapsed. Military towers protect the town, and the fortress-like houses have fire slits in the ground floor. Defence was very important during hostile times. The ruins of the clay houses look as though they have grown out of the bare rock. The wonderful view into the valley below gives the impression that time stopped here many centuries ago. The mighty Jabrin Fort. It is one of the most beautiful castles of its kind in the Sultanate of Oman, formerly the famous Land of Incense. The massive, towering and eye-catching pewter walls of this structure date back to the 17th century. The owner of this splendid building, that is more like a palace than a fort, was the noble scholar Imam Arab bin Sultan. In 1670, he moved his government headquarters to Jabrin. Although clearly designed for battle, this impressive residential castle was constructed during peaceful times. Imam Arab was a highly educated man, well versed in poetry and philosophy, both of which he was keen to support. The interior of the castle, with its furnishings and everyday objects, gives a strong impression of the way of life of its former occupants during this historic epoch. Two of the residences were originally constructed separately, but were subsequently connected by way of a small but bright inner courtyard. The old, well-preserved furniture gives a lasting impression of the Osmanic aristocrats' lifestyle during the 17th and 18th centuries. Most rooms contain beautiful wooden ceilings. The castle was built mainly for residential use and was not ideally equipped to fend off would-be attackers. In addition to the splendid furnishings of its interior, the castle contains hidden corridors and secret rooms in which it was possible to eavesdrop on private conversations. These precautionary measures were taken due to increasing tension between Bil Arab and his brother Saif bin Sultan. The majority of the wooden ceilings, numerous vaults and arches are adorned with artistic calligraphy, verses from the Quran and floral motifs. This noble fortress owes its present-day lustre to the comprehensive restoration work of more recent times. Construction of the palace was carried out in 3 stages. Thus the building's residential quarters extended from the centre of the palace and took over an increasingly large area. Less strategic but extremely attractive is the view from the top of Jabrin Fort across the surrounding country. From here our journey leads further north. On both sides of the road are the high mountains of the Jebel Nakhl and the Dhofar. From time to time we pass small settlements. The water tanks at the roadside are filled up regularly to make the arduous life of the remaining inhabitants of the mountains more bearable. The winding road continues to climb. The fascinating landscape becomes increasingly desolate and threatening. Until 50 years ago, Abri had the reputation for being a centre for highwaymen and robbers, favoured for its good strategic location. The booty that came from plundered caravans and the settlements of various tribes was sold at auction in the souk, adventure straight from the pages of an Arabic fairy tale. The once strongly fortified town on the hill is now abandoned and has fallen into decay. Within the fortress, it's plain to see that it was built on natural rock. It's still possible to see the impressive remains of houses and alleys that until relatively recently were full of life. The clay walls slowly fell into decay and the town gradually became unrecognizable. Only a few traces remain of its dramatic past, and soon even these will disappear due to the ravages of wind and rain. Thus in time nothing will remain of the mighty fortifications that for centuries once protected the inhabitants of Oman. The last leg of the journey leads further north to the edge of the Rub al-Khali desert. It's difficult to believe that a fully made-up road leads across this desert area. A number of camels walk in the desert sand that flanks the road. Thanks to these adaptable animals, the nomads became more mobile and independent. The camel made the desert more accessible for its inhabitants, and it also provided the people with vital quantities of milk, hair and meat. The final destination of our journey, the oasis town of Buraimi, a town that borders the United Arab Emirates and consists of 9 districts. Three belong to the Sultanate of Oman, and the remaining 6 to the Emirate of Abu Dhabi, that is also known as Al Ain. For the Abbasid caliphs, Buraimi was the basis of the conquest of Oman. However, in the 17th century it once again came under the rule of Oman. At the beginning of the 19th century, the Saudi Arabian Wahhabites took control of the oasis and enlarged the fort. From there, they wanted to spread their doctrine across the whole of Oman. Sultan Said attempted to drive them off with violence, but the conflict did not end there. First, an alliance with the Sheikh of Abu Dhabi brought peace. When mineral oil was discovered here in 1952, Saudi Arabia occupied the district of Hamasa and claimed the oasis for itself. The central part of the oasis exudes calm and makes it easy to forget that in 1955 the Saudis were forcefully removed from this area. Subsequently, there have been no further conflicts, and the oasis is now tantamount to a park, a shady setting of palm trees and murmuring springs. Here, petrodollars have changed life completely, and drinking water and consumables have become a natural way of life. But the souk is still the meeting place of the men. Here, countless goods are offered for sale, but the most important attraction is the exchange of news and gossip. It seems as though life here has remained the same in spite of mineral oil. The daily routine is still the same, and the chit-chat continues with its usual themes. Within the cool corridors of the market, vegetables and legumes are offered in bags, and also fresh fruits and vegetables from the surrounding plantations. Traders proudly display the fish, freshly caught and delivered from Abu Dhabi. Trade across the border presents no difficulties. For thousands of years, both Arabic and non-Arabic people have lived peacefully together in Oman, and both the sea and trade have made their mark in Oman society. Because of its geographical location and politics, for several years this country was closed to the outside world. The Sultanate of Oman is a treasure trove of rarities. Its 12,000-year-old history is visible throughout the entire country, and the beauty of the mysterious Arabian Peninsula is a truly captivating experience.